Hey folks, Eric here, the Whatever Guy, because it really is whatever me. And do you folks want to know about Governor DeSantis saying that marijuana will be on the ballot in 2024? You guys stick around, man, and we'll talk about that. As you guys know, me, my name's Eric, I'm the Whatever Guy, and I usually shoot videos a couple days a week, basically keeping you guys updated in the world Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, hemp, cannabis, just what's going on around. And sitting here, we're bullshitting around on an early Tuesday morning. As you guys know, we've been going through this little run train of what we got going on in Florida for quite a while. I find it interesting that the social equity license for the state of Alabama, the integrated social equity license for the state of Alabama, is actually who is pushing this legislation in Florida. Trulieve down there, man, has donated about $40 million to this campaign. As you guys know, I have been a little bit down on DeSantis in the past. You know, when he first started his campaign for governor and stuff like that, everybody loved the guy. Like as he moved into campaigning for the president, it's almost like his advisors were guiding him in the wrong direction. And now it seems as though as he's dropped out of the race and he has endorsed Trump, he is coming back to what the voters want. Like these people, these congressmen and these representatives need to understand that they represent us. Like they don't get to go up there and vote their conscience. Like they don't get to go up there and basically decide what is better for us, especially when the voters are the ones that are basically telling you that we want marijuana on the ballot in Florida. And like this situation we've got going on is a really crazy situation. And I've told you already that the Supreme Court has already laid out oral arguments to Ashley Moody that basically indicates that they're going to approve in April the marijuana legalization ballot. So it's cool that DeSantis is actually pushing this marijuana legalization ballot for recreational marijuana in Florida. But I also find it interesting that Trulieve, a multi-state operator, our only social equity medical license in the state of Alabama was Trulieve, a multi-state operator that is giving $40 million basically to get recreational marijuana approved in the state of Alabama. Now, is that what's going to happen in the future here? We're not 100% sure, but we do know that obviously Trulieve is now fighting on the side of the AMCC. They want to see these lawsuits thrown out. They have a lot of money, obviously, to be able to throw $40 million around like they're flowing around. Like my argument goes back to the same thing. I keep asking over and over again. It's like, is Trulieve the only social equity person like integrated license we could find in the state of Florida? I think we just did an article yesterday on Mr. Oliver, from Southeast Alabama over there, and like we could have gave him the license. He was awarded a license in the first two rounds, and now we fall forward into a position where Trulieve may possibly get this social equity license in the integrator space and possibly drive the way that our industry is going to go in this state. Now that's been my argument from the get-go. We don't want people from out of the state. We want people from in the state. We have experts in the state. We have everything we need in the state to do medical marijuana, and we've invited Trulieve in. And so we're going to flip over here to an article over here, and like I said, this is mostly about DeSantis putting or allowing, saying that marijuana will be on the ballot in 2024. However, like I said, the interesting part of this is who is actually pushing this legislation. It says Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says a marijuana legalization initiative will be on the state's November ballot, predicting a favorable legal outcome for activists in the Supreme Court in the face of a challenge from the Attorney General who is seeking to block the vote. Days before dropping out of the race for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, DeSantis was asked about the prospect of legalization making the Florida ballot by cannabis lobbyist Don Murphy. I think the court is going to approve that, the governor said in his final campaign event in New Hampshire on Friday, so it'll be on the ballot. It's not clear if DeSantis has received some indication from the court about the status of the case, which is still weighing the legal challenge from Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody, or if he is just making a prediction based on the issues at play. Moody has asked the court to invalidate the measure despite activists collecting nearly 1 million signatures for ballot replacement. The state official previously successfully petitioned justices to prevent a 2022 legalization initiative from receiving voter consideration. And the reason why she was able to get that taken off the initiative in 2022 is because of the way they wrote the law. Like when they write these laws, guys, they have to write them in basically a sixth grader understanding. Like a sixth grader has to be able to read this and understand what it is and not be confused. And the 2022 law, according to the state Supreme Court, was written in a way that it was confusing to the voter. So they threw that out. And so now we're in a position where the statements that were made by the Supreme Court justices was basically that this wording is correct now to be placed on the vote. So that's the indication that they're going to put it on the ballot, is that the justices have already stated that this language is clear, it's able to be read, and it's not obviously easily misunderstood. And so that's kind of where we're going with that. And that's exactly why it was taken off the ballot in 2022, but that's also why it will be on the ballot in 2024, because they have corrected that wording. That won't be the case this round, according to the governor. While he opposes the reform and pledged not to federally decriminalize marijuana if elected president when he was running, he says voters will get a chance to decide on the issue at this time. The state Supreme Court heard oral arguments in the case against the Smart and State Florida campaign last November, but it has not issued a ruling yet. It will need to do so by April 1st. DeSantis also weighed in on another relevant cannabis policy last week when he separately told Murphy that he doesn't believe the federal gun ban for state legal marijuana consumers is constitutional. Florida's former agricultural commissioner, Nikki Fried, brought a lawsuit against the Biden administration over the rule, though the governor did not get involved. Prior to dropping out, DeSantis said earlier this month that if elected president, he would respect the decisions that states make on marijuana legalization, despite his personal view that the reform has a negative impact. With respect to the legalization ballot measure, a Florida Chamber of Commerce released a poll this month showing that the reform proposal enjoys majority support from likely voters, but not quite enough to meet the state's steep 60% threshold for passage. That said, other previous polls have found that voters are well positioned to pass the legalization initiative with more than enough support. For example, the University of North Florida put out a survey last month that shows 67% of voters back the proposal. The multi-state marijuana company Trulieve has contributed more than $40 million to the Smart and Safe Florida campaign to date. The state attorney general has accused the company of supporting the measure in order to have a monopolistic stranglehold on the state's cannabis market. Guys, this is what's possibly going to happen here in the state of Alabama. Like, this is what Trulieve is pushing towards. They're not passing $40 million out like it's air for nothing. Like, they're not spending all this money in Alabama to get this, to appeal this for nothing. Like, they have an end goal in mind. And I promise you, if we allow Trulieve to come in here and keep that license, that they are going to basically guide the way that the laws go in the state of Alabama. That Trulieve will basically take it out of the hands of all our legislatures and basically put it in their hands, and their money will basically guide how our industry is going to go in the future. If approved, the measure would change the state's constitution, allowing medical cannabis companies in the state like Trulieve to begin selling marijuana to all adults over the age of 21. It contains a provision that would allow but not require lawmakers to take steps towards the approval of additional businesses. Home cultivation by consumers would not be allowed under the proposal as drafted. Adults 21 and older would be able to purchase and possess up to 1 ounce of cannabis, only 5 grams of which could be marijuana concentrate products. The 3-page measure would also omits equity provisions favored by advocates, such as expungements or other relief for people with prior cannabis convictions. Guys, it's a good thing that we're actually moving forward into a position where obviously Florida is going to get into a position where we're going to get recreational marijuana. Obviously, it's a bad thing. We're talking about this bill where they're trying to push forward ahead of time to cap the THC at 10%. That will probably hopefully get shot down. Hopefully that will be killed, and we will move forward with a recreational marijuana initiative in the state of Florida. However, I find it interesting that, again, our only social equity license in the state of Alabama, our only social equity integrated license in the state of Alabama is Trulieve, and they are the ones that are basically guiding the way the law is being written in the state of Florida. And if we're not careful, that's exactly what's going to happen here in the state of Alabama. All right, folks, whatever, guys, signing off, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Love you. See ya.